Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be giving you my Sagittarius October 2018 horoscope forecast. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Anyway, people, first thing up is as far as October goes, the Sun will be in Libra from the 1st until the 23rd. So the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, there could be a strong concentration of energy, focus, and attention on goals, aspirations, the future, groups, clubs, organizations, friends, acquaintances, and even stepchildren if applicable. Now, given that this is Libra energy, this could be done with a lot of balance and peace and a lot of tactful, diplomatic energy. It could be where also I could be done with a lot of ambivalence and indecision and weighing a lot of pros and cons as well. And a lot of, really, it could be some negotiation, even reconciliation involved. And this could be a thing, too. I mean, given it's Libra energy, it could be a lot of, again, wavering back and forth on issues associated with the 11th house. At this time, and it could be focusing really on Libra-like goals and aspirations, such as something connected with art or something with legalities or beauty or arbitration, something Libra-related. Anyway, next thing up is as far as October goes, the Sun will be in Scorpio from the 23rd until the 31st, so the 12th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, there could be a strong concentration of energy, focus, and attention on hidden adversaries, fears, self-undoing, restrictions and limitations, and those less fortunate, such as the impoverished, the oppressed, the hungry, the homeless. Also on solitude and seclusion, sometimes mental illness if one does actually have one in those cases. Now, given that this is Scorpio energy, this could be done with a lot of Scorpio, like emotional intensity, resourcefulness, secrecy, very willful and intractable manner, guile as well, and in terms perhaps with hidden adversaries, trying to weed them out, but it also going beyond subterfuge and superficiality as well. Remember, the 12th house can also be about aunts, uncles, so it could apply to them, and also it could even be to people that maybe you've helped that are less fortunate than most, or people that you know are less fortunate than most, again, such as the impoverished, the oppressed, homeless, and hungry, and also with a lot of transforming energy as well. A lot of these 12th house matters can be gone about with. So anyway, next thing up is there will be a new moon in Libra on October 8th, so the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. Well, in some cases, this could be about the beginning of a new Libra-like aspiration or a goal. It could be something connected with arbitration, negotiation, graphic art, art in general, such as sculpting, drawing, or painting. This could be also, in some cases, this could be a new Libra stepchild may come into the picture. It could be a Libra, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Libra-like characteristics. This could also be, I mean, in some cases, I mean, you look at Libra energy, and Libra can be about relationships in general. So in some cases, this could be a start, perhaps, of a relationship with someone maybe you know well in a group or a club or organization. Maybe the beginning of collaborating on some kind of new club or group or organization, perhaps. And also, too, it might be where you might meet up with a new Libra friend or an acquaintance, and it can be a Libra, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Libra-like characteristics. So, and also perhaps a new period where you might begin to ingratiate yourself in some kind of group outlet or something. Could be on social media, could be a club or some kind of organization. So anyway, Next thing up is there will be a full moon in Taurus on October 24th. So the 6th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, well, this could manifest, of course, in a multitude of ways. This could be a time where you might simply become tired, exasperated, had enough of, become full of a rather stubborn, obstinate, stolid, or even boring. Could be an aunt or uncle, a fellow employee, somebody that is prominent in your daily routine, perhaps, or somebody that figures strongly in your health life. This could be something of something work-related that was very enduring, very sustained, that required a lot of patience, perseverance, and persistence may come to an end. Or it could be a Taurus-like venture at work that reaches a culmination or a conclusion, something, for example, connected with gardening, cultivation, architecture, stockbroker work, banking, doing something as a pawnbroker. And also, too, when you're talking, I mean, this in some cases, this could be about the unveiling or revelation of some Taurus-like illness, such as something with the throat or the neck, especially if it's, let's say, if it, depending on other things in your chart that might confer or reaffirm or reinforce, such as this making an inconjunct to your actual ascendant in your natal chart, as inconjuncts can often be about that. And when you have energy with the 6th house, of course, there's always that greater propensity from something health related to arise. So anyway, next thing up is Mercury will be in Libra as far as October goes, from the 1st until the 9th. So the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, you might find yourself doing more balanced, really communications, weighing the pros and cons in matters connected with groups, clubs, organizations, with friends. You might find yourself talking, communicating with a lot more tact and diplomacy with these people as well, articulating what you say very carefully with them. I mean, in considering Sagittarius is not exactly known to epitomize tact, diplomacy, and really being assiduous as far as what they're saying, this could be a little hard for them. But anyway, again, that Mercury can also be about siblings, as I've stated in previous videos. So this could be where it may perhaps Libra siblings, they could be Libra Sun, Moon, or Ascendant people, or simply ones that embody Libra-like characteristics, might figure strongly more in your future at this time, and maybe your goals and your aspirations as well, perhaps even social media activities. So anyway, well, the next thing up is Mercury will be in Scorpio as far as October goes, from the 9th until the 31st. So the 12th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, you might find yourself having more provocative, deep, probing, and even incisive communications, perhaps in private, with people that are prominent in your private life. It could be where you might find yourself really being much more secretive. Your mindset might be much more secretive regarding your private affairs, maybe both. It could be in some cases both literally and in other ways as well, literal actual affairs, or affairs meaning activities. So, and again, this could be a time too, again, as I've stated previously, that Mercury can also be about siblings. This could be about Scorpio siblings. They could be Sun, Moon, Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant people, or simply ones that embody Scorpio-like characteristics that might actually be figuratively driving you crazy, but they may be able to help you, give you insight in terms of maybe dealing with hidden adversaries at this time. And the mind might be more focused on this as well, and also doing some more probing and maybe using some guile maybe to weed these hidden adversaries out, so to speak. And really and again, your mind might also be motivated to helping those less fortunate than yourself, such as the impoverished, the oppressed, and the homeless and hungry as well, and you might be thinking deeply in terms of how ways you might be able to think of to help those people as well. Anyway, next thing up is Venus will be in Scorpio and will be retrograde from like the 6th until the 31st. So again, the 12th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, in some cases, this could be about, 12th house could be clandestine affairs. It could be one that you might have with the Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or one that embodies Scorpio-like characteristics. And given it's Scorpio and the 12th house, it could be done with a tremendous secrecy if this does actually take place. And also, too, you're talking about Venus in the 12th house. This could be about limitations with finances. It could have been due to maybe doing some spending on matters that were maybe Scorpio related. It could be connected with astrology, occult, supernatural, or something maybe connected with somebody like a sexual partner, or something that could be a Scorpio related. So it could have been matters with the death of somebody, for example, and you send some funds maybe to help as far as funeral expenses, for example. I'm just throwing that out there, of course. Now, also, this could also be about the enjoyment of Scorpio-like things in solitude and seclusion, such as doing something Ouija board or something astrological, occult, supernatural, playing mystery games, or police games. It could be some like CSI, some kind of investigation games, and even recycling. Now, also too, given that it's going to be retrograde for the majority of the month, it could be some people might be going back to a Scorpio love at this time, and it could be with reverting back to it and being very secretive about it, given that we're talking about the 12th house. So anyway, and also, could a Scorpio love actually be a hidden adversary? Well, in some cases, maybe the person can be. Again, it could be a Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or simply one that embodies Scorpio-like characteristics. It could also manifest perhaps in valuing, going beyond superficiality and subterfuge, and really and being able to expose those adversaries that may remain hidden or try to stay hidden. Anyway, people, hold on a minute. Sorry about that. Anyway, next thing up is Mars will be in Aquarius. So the 3rd house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, you might find yourself really with much abundant physical and even sometimes physical more mobility and mental energy as well. You might have more unexpected fights with friends over things that were communicated, and also taking very unpredictable, spontaneous short trips at this time, short journeys. Also, too, this could be a time, too, where you might be putting a lot of energy and vitality in something electronic or computer related. It could be something doing some work on some cars that might be electronic related. It could be wiring, but also be careful. It could be more propensity for car accidents at this time, as there's more unpredictable energy that may be going on at this time as well. So anyway, next thing, as far as this goes as well, you might find yourself also putting a lot of energy and vitality into Aquarius-like things such as computers, electronics, innovation, aerospace, astronomy, and doing so perhaps with 3rd house people such as siblings, cousins, neighbors, people you may know in your short journeys. So anyway, you could be a lot more outspoken at this time, even more so than usual. And anyway, next thing up, Jupiter will be in Scorpio still, so the 12th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, this could be very fortuitous for perhaps conquering hidden adversaries through subterfuge and guile, and also perhaps very fortunate and lucky, perhaps for transforming the lives of those less fortunate than yourself, such again as the oppressed, the homeless, the hungry, and oppressed. And also, as I've stated before, Jupiter could be paradoxical. It can be very benign and benevolent, but it could also have a tendency to enlarge and expand. In some cases, it could enlarge and expand, perhaps surreptitious, nefarious, even manipulative behavior, perhaps from an aunt and uncle. It could be people that are hidden adversaries and might be posing as friends. People that are less fortunate than yourself. It could be even people that you might know in some metaphysical fields, such as astrology. So anyway, also too, this could really also be manifest perhaps in putting a lot of exuberance and enthusiasm into doing Scorpio-like things in solitude and seclusion, such as astrology, the occult, supernatural, magic, alchemy, doing some kind of investigative work, some deep research. So anyway, next thing up is Saturn will be in Capricorn. The second house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. Well, the first thing is you may be experiencing more restrictions and limitations at a monetary level than usual, which might be causing you to feel somewhat despondent or melancholy. Also, too, this could be a time, too, where you might be taking care of somebody that's sickly or debilitated that might figure prominently, perhaps at the place you generate income, and it could be something Capricorn related, such as something with the knees, the bones, or the joints. And also, too, the father and perhaps older people might figure more prominently in your finances, your resources, your possessions at this time. So also you might feel a little bit down in terms of your self-esteem and self-worth and how you feel about yourself at this time. But it could also, on a positive end, Saturn could be about structure and discipline and giving you that in terms of generating income at this time as well. But you might also feel there might be some government restriction that might be doing something in terms of limiting your income at this time. But it could also be about working laboriously in something government related that can be about generating income. So anyway, next thing up is Uranus will be in Taurus still. So the sixth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. Well, this could be about the formulation of new financial ideas, which might actually extricate yourself from your place of employment if you are at one. And also, it might also manifest perhaps in incorporating Uranus interests into your daily routine, such as astrology, other esoteric subjects, could be electronics, computers, innovation, something that could be aerospace, astronomy, something that could be Uranus related. Now, in some cases, this could also be about getting maybe some kind of enigmatic illness or some issues with the nerves or feeling like very shocking type sensations. I have this position natally in my chart. It almost actually, Uranus almost exactly conjuncts my sixth house in my natal chart, and I have all kinds of extensive nerve damage, and I've had like some actually shock sensations in my arms, which of course I believe is attributed to the nerve damage. So anyway, but also too, it could be also manifest perhaps in Taurus friendships figuring more strongly in your work life than usual, your daily routine, and even your health perhaps, and perhaps even involved in more service to others as well. Anyway, next thing up is Neptune will be in Pisces still, so the fourth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. Well, you might, in some cases, this could be about some flooding or a gas leak in the home or some accidental or inadvertent assimilation of chemicals at the home, like such as radon. So be careful at this time. Now, also, too, in some cases, this could be manifest in the dissolving or dissipation, sadly, of the home life, and also where you want to be, maybe at the end of life, the condition might be somewhat nebulous and unclear at this time, or trying to get to where you want, you might be somewhat confused in terms of how, what your conditions are going to be at that time. Now, In some cases, this could manifest as a family member, or sometimes the less dominant parent, which is often the mother, succumbing to some kind of alcohol or drug use. And also, too, where your roots and ancestry, it might be a time where that might be somewhat nebulous and unclear as well. And you might feel more like at this time being a little more lethargic and fantasizing about home activities at this time as opposed to doing them. Now, on the positive side, this could also be about doing something Neptune related in the home, and especially depending on aspects. Let's say if it's making a positive aspect to your Venus, is making a sextile or trine to it, it could be about making money through that as well, doing something, say for example, like poetry. It could be something with the metaphysical, which can include astrology, photography, chemistry, something that could be Neptune related, perhaps out of the home. So anyway, next thing up is Pluto will be in Capricorn still. So the second house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, now I know a lot of you don't want me to say the dreaded D word, but you know I'm going to anyway. In some cases, this could be the actual literal death, perhaps of somebody prominent in your finances, your resources, your possessions, that place you make income at. It could also be about making a transformation in your income as well. Sometimes this could obliterate finances, but it's at the same time, remember that Pluto is also about rebirth and regeneration. So what can go away with Pluto often can be supplanted and replaced. And anyway, another thing too, this is about, I mean, the second house can be about self-esteem and self-worth, and you might feel that that might be destroyed at this time, but it could also be about trying to gain power through that, through how you feel about yourself and your self-worth at this time. So anyway, well, hold on a second, people, again. And just be careful about, say, manipulative behavior over matters of a monetary nature at this time. And there might be more power struggles in connection even with your own possessions, or even things of a monetary nature at this time, and maybe with somebody at the place you generate income with. Anyway, next thing up is the North Node will be in Leo. Still, so the ninth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. Well, when the North Node is in transit, this could be about issues they have to confront and address. And in this case, it could be about having to confront somebody that may be very arrogant, domineering, bombastic, flamboyant. It could be somebody, could be an in-law or a grandchild, someone you may know at a religious congregation or college, university. You may also be directed toward taking pride and dignity, perhaps in your philosophical beliefs. It could even be really also in your higher education as well, perhaps, and also being directed to perhaps being a little bit more extravagant in ninth house matters, such as publishing or traveling abroad. You might be wind up having to spend a little more in ninth house matters than you originally anticipated, but also showing magnanimous, generous energy with in-laws, grandchildren, foreigners, people you may know at a religious congregation, and also wanting, being lauded, praised, and getting attention and recognition for ninth house matters as well, such as publishing and doing things for in-laws, for grandchildren, a religious congregation, anything that could be ninth house related. So anyway, next thing up is the Black Moon Lilith will still be in Aquarius. So the third house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. Well, one way this could manifest, it could be about somebody, a sibling, a neighbor, a cousin, somebody prominent in your short journeys, even someone from your early education might be showing rather idiosyncratic, bizarre, or unusual behavior at this time. The Black Moon Lilith could also be about what could put one in a strong state of fright or trepidation. This could be about losing or relinquishing freedom and independence in your communications, and or perhaps even losing ingenuity in thought as well. And the thing about this is, and really, I mean, freedom in communications, I would say, especially, I mean, you're talking about Sagittarius, who wants to always be that free bird in terms of what they want to say and what they do. And anyway, now another way this could manifest as well, this could also be about, when you're talking about the Black Moon Lilith, this could be about something that comes out of the bag, so to speak, that you didn't want to come out, but does anyway for whatever reason. In some cases, this could be about maybe some kind of a communication thing about you that might be somewhat unorthodox or something unusual that's tied into your communications. It could be something connected with a sibling or a cousin that you didn't want, that might be somewhat unusual or unorthodox, or something bizarre connected with them that maybe comes out that you didn't want to come out necessarily. So, and also too, this could be about the revelation or unveiling of a very formidable Aquarius adversary. It could be an Aquarius Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or simply one that embodies Aquarius-like characteristics. It could be a third house person, such as a sibling, a neighbor, a cousin, or even someone you know in prominent in your short journeys, or even somebody from your early education. Anyway, last but not least, Chiron will still be in Pisces, so the fourth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, well, Chiron is about our emotional wounds and suffering we could be going through. Sometimes it could be physical wounds. Now, in this case, since we're talking about Chiron and Pisces and the fourth house, this could be about dealing with deceptive, duplicitous behavior from a family member. It could be the less dominant parent or someone you're simply close to home with. Also, maybe dealing with confusion and really your roots and ancestry being unclear at this time. Maybe dealing with things that were ambiguous that might have been stated about connected with a family member or someone you're close to home with. Also, too, about maybe some confusion regarding where you want to be in terms of the end of life. That latter part of life might be really unclear or nebulous in where you want to be, and also as to who you are, perhaps at the core being somewhat nebulous and unclear as well. It might be about dealing with chaos and confusion in your home and family life, or even experiencing a betrayal from somebody at your as far as your family goes. And even in some cases, this may manifest perhaps in really just indolence and lethargy in home-related activities, and not being really more fantasizing about doing things fourth house related as to something with the home, with the family life, and as opposed to actually doing it, and maybe even being overly passive in home-related matters as well. In situations maybe you needed to confront somebody at home or someone you're close to home with, but you didn't do so, and really are feeling, you know, those emotional wounds, so to speak, at this time because of that. So anyway, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my Sagittarius October 2018 horoscope forecast. Stay tuned next time, where I'll be giving you my Capricorn October 2018 horoscope forecast. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.